Okay, so today, first of all, hello. Probably it's gonna be an angle you will not really have seen for me when I was streaming because it's all VR and currently no webcam yet. I may change that after a certain period of time. So this YouTube channel, primarily dedicated to kind of a combination maybe behind the scenes content. So like, for example, showing like how my setup, streaming setup works. Clips and things from the game itself. If I have a really good game or something, I may pull it from the Twitch stream and post it here. Or maybe just like short how-to videos, my advice on both VR, like on VR games, like my advice on VR games, or also like maintenance of VR, like the VR accessories and stuff like that. And this video is going to be one of those. So if you have use your controller for any amount of time, like particularly a long period of time, you may have noticed you get something called stick drift. So you can see this is the left controller for my Quest 2. Just focus it real quick. You can kind of move it back and forth just like an Xbox controller. What will happen is that after a certain amount of use, eventually what happens is you get what's called stick drift, where the stick gets put as like there's like kind of like phantom input. So like the stick may be like in the middle, but the data the headset in this case is getting says that it's being pushed like intermittently over to the right side. So essentially that means is that sometimes you'll randomly get like walk to the right without you actually giving any input. And one thing, it can get really annoying, like especially my playstyle, I involve a lot of kind of moving back and forth, peeking around corners and getting back into cover pretty quickly. So that's definitely a problem if I can't or staying still and getting consistent shots on people in VR. So getting kind of kicked back and forth a lot can obviously cause issues and gets very irritating. So what I'm going to address this is thankfully it's a very simple fix. To do it, you will need to take apart your controller slightly. No crazy stuff of like undoing screws or anything, just popping something off. But still, unless I'm mistaken, this will still void the warranty of your controller by opening it up and messing with it. So do this at your own risk. I am by no means an expert. I have done this before, but this is just chronicling what I do. Everything at your own risk. I will put in the description a link to a video, to a kind of a how-to by iFixit. It goes into how to disassemble your entire controller and actually clean, and it also goes into what causes stick drifts, which essentially is just there's some gunk in there from the sensor pads that causes the phantom stuff. They go into it a lot more in depth on like how to actually get in there and clean the things that actually cause the issues. I'm rambling. I'm going to show you how to do this. So you will need only pretty much a utility knife, or if you have one of those fancy like things for used for removing screens, or like prying electronic pry bar essentially. You can go ahead, use that. What I recommend using is like just a utility knife. You definitely want the holder, not just a straight blade like this. In fact, the blade itself does not have to be dull. In fact, I guess it would be better if it is dull, so you're less likely to cause damage. And then you also need some sort of electronics cleaner. All the people I discussed to mainly about when complaining about it in game, they always say use the WD-40 brand electronic contact cleaner. I personally just got this stuff, this CRC QD electronic cleaner. No affiliation with any companies about anything in this video. This is just what I pretty much first thing I found at Home Depot, and it was cheap, so I got it. And yeah, definitely gonna want to do this in a well-ventilated area, because this stuff, you shouldn't be breathing it in. Yeah, if you have one of the ones that has the tiny straws in there, that will work better. So now into first part is the little bit of disassembly we will have to do. So in my case, because I use a VR gun stock, that will be shown more in depth in how that works. Information about that one in my setup tour, which I don't know when that video will release. I probably will release. So I'm doing this. I just need to get these zip ties off. And you know what? I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll come back when I've gotten essentially stripped down to just the bare controller. Okay, so now I've just got that thing removed. Now we're going to go into the pretty much the bare minimum disassembly that you have to do just to address the problem temporarily. This is my third time that I'll be cleaning these out. I don't know if you can actually physically like wear out the stick and have to buy new one. I have looked around, you cannot buy like the new joystick modules that I know of. If you do know that you can buy the new joystick modules for the Quest 2, please like stick the information down in there, because like eventually I'll probably wear this thing out and I don't want to pay the $70–80 for a whole new controller. Yeah, so I'm doing is very important. You take the battery out. You're gonna have to take the battery cover off anyway, so definitely should take the battery out. That stuff aside. And then the reason I removed that is, you'll see why, is that what you want to do is kind of come in here. Be careful that if it slips, the knife won't go into your hand. So I just use my fingernails to kind of first just get under there and kind of, actually no, this is where you want to use the knife. Would be very careful. You have a button there, the thing is there, two more buttons there, and then there's a spring under there that you don't want to damage. And so you kind of take the battery cover off, you come in here with this. Oop. Don't be careful, I almost went into the button there. So you kind of just go in there, pop it off. If you're doing this for the first time, you will have more resistance because there's a bunch of adhesive in there. I just kind of carefully get the knife in there, just kind of twist and to pop it off, and then from there, you kind of just use your fingers. Here, let's move it a bit. You kind of want to, you want to use your fingers to kind of just pry it, pry it up. I'm not getting the best angle until it kind of pops out. You want to be careful when you're going around moving it from around the stick, because it just barely fits through the controller knob head, I guess. Just barely fits through, so you kind of continue prying it. Careful, you don't want to break it or damage anything. Kind of continue to pry it. It just pops off, and then you have, that's the plate right there. And again, you want to, so now that's off. You want to set that aside. You can kind of see how on mine there's some adhesive right around there, which is it's right at that spot there. So when you first do this, you will have to break through that adhesive, but on repeated times doing that, it will come off easier. And there's no it still snaps in place. The adhesive, I think, is just kind of just it's tamper-proof steel, if I had to guess. So you have all your buttons there. That thing is kind of just detects if you're resting. You can actually see the spring right there for the trigger. I did take this thing completely apart and tell you that the engineering that went into this, like how all this stuff fits together, is very impressive. But I do not encourage you to do it yourself. If you want to go, again, check out the iFixit article, I'll link that in the description, to how to completely disassemble it. But then what I like to also do is you want to get this controller, like, I don't know what it's called, knob head thing, I guess. I don't know. You want to just generally pull it off and it pops off. You kind of see there. Just gives you a bit better access to the sensor. I leave that spring in place because I don't want to mess with it. And then you can see you have the bare controller stock there. In a bit. You no longer need this, so I'm going to close that and put it aside. So I slice myself open with it. And then you want to take your cleaner. If you have the tiny hose that goes on the end, that works a lot better. And you just kind of want to, what I like to do is kind of pull it to one side, kind of just, not really pull it, just kind of, again, take the battery out. You don't want there to be any energy, and preferably leave it sit for a little bit in case capacity needs to discharge. Just kind of spray it on there, work it around, just work the stick around. Again, it's important to do this in a well-ventilated area. I have my windows open and my fan's running. If you can do this outside, it'd probably be even better, like a fan pushing it off, pushing the vapors away. So kind of just work it back and forth. Spray it again. If you miss, it doesn't matter. This stuff is designed to get safe for sensitive electronics. That's what the can says. And also, it will not discolor the plastic of the controller. This is all stuff going based off the can, but in my experience, it also does not. Just kind of work it around in there. Spray again. Just continue to trying to get it in there as far as possible. So you can just to try and get as much of the gunk out of there as possible. When I first tried this, I did use compressed air instead of this to try and blow it out. It kind of worked, but this stuff just works so much better. And yeah, kind of just spray and just move it around in there. But yeah. And then what you're going to do is after that, like once you're done with that, you're essentially happy. You're probably going to want. What I like to do is let it sit for a little bit and kind of just to get all of any excess of the stuff to evaporate out. So leave it for a couple minutes, which is what I'm going to do, and I'll get back to you after that. Okay, so after waiting for it to all the stuff to kind of evaporate off, I just have this small fan I stuck next to it to kind of get more airflow on there. What I like to do is, so this is my method. I can't really recommend this method because I don't know, it's not the safest. It's not super safe. I'm not encouraging you to do it. It's just what I do, and I do this carefully as I can. I like to take it actually just lightly kind of wafts some of the over kind of the thing. So kind of just push some air around towards my nose with it. So just see if you can still kind of smell this, smells the stuff. I'm pretty sure it's like alcohol based of some sort, so it evaporates off pretty quickly. So yeah, once it's pretty good now. Once it's all kind of evaporated off and don't really smell it, then you you can reassemble it. So reassembly is the opposite of disassembly, exact opposite of disassembly. So you're done with that. First step is take the controller knob thing. I don't know the proper term again. This one is in, and you want to put it back on. Just make sure, because this one does have the two flats, so it doesn't twist on it. You want to make sure it gets put on properly. Push down a couple times. Make sure it stays in place. Then you get this cover plate again. Don't know the actual name of it, and kind of just line it up, and then just kind of gently push on, kind of around the edge, just kind of seat back down again. Test the buttons a couple times so make sure they're not sticking or anything. Going down and getting stuck, just be good, very good. And just kind of go around pushing it and getting it to seat back down properly, flat. And, so yeah, now done that, next step is, because all this voltage is super low voltage, like 1.5 volts at probably a very low amperage, given it's powered by a single AA battery. Yeah, I imagine it's not super. And given the amounts because we let it evaporate, I move it now. It's not a fire hazard. So you can put the battery back in. Just test it. You see the white light flash. And whenever you push one of the use the X button as close as that light should flash a couple times. Or push any button except the trigger or grip button. You push any button except trigger, grip, or moving the stick around. That light there should flash, just letting you know that it has power and it's working properly. And then you can just put the battery cover back on. Typically you would have the lanyard there so it doesn't go flying off, but again, I use knuckle grips. More info in the setup tour, setup video about that. And yeah, that should solve any stick drift issues you're having, at least temporarily. You may have to come in a month or two later and do it again and repeat the process when it comes back. As I said, this is the third time I have to do this. But yeah, because you typically get a pretty big can like this, you will have, for pretty cheap, you will have plenty of the cleaner left to do it plenty of times, probably more times than you'll run out of this stuff way after you've already worn out and broken the controller, or the headset itself is so out of date that you've needed to get a new one. Is my guess. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to this short how-to, or not, semi how-to on how to fix stick drift. Hopefully this helps you. If not, I hope it was at least entertaining. Yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.